Before we get into the effects of anxiety, Counsellor at Wholeness and Wellness Counselling Services, J.L. Valdez, gave a definition of anxiety.
I like to consider it as your built-in alarm system, right? So essentially, in its normal levels, anxiety can actually be good. So it could pose as a warning. So if you're walking on the street and you see somebody, maybe looking a little shady, you might feel, also like to refer to it as your spidey sense tingling, and you might be like, this doesn't seem like a safe situation. You might cross the road, or you might try to get somewhere where there are more people present, right? So it's like your built-in alarm system.
There are some positive aspects of anxiety.
It could also encourage you, right? So motivate you. You have an exam coming up, you want to do well, you are scared or nervous about failing, so it might encourage you to do better, right? You're an athlete, you want to make sure you beat your personal record or you beat your biggest competitor, you are going to be motivated to train harder or to do better. So anxiety in its regular levels is really uh, a motivator, something that can be help you to problem solve, and something that can be activated for your safety.
Ms. Valdez said in its abnormal levels, anxiety becomes debilitating.
And it also it can paralyze you. And for some people, it gets as bad as not even wanting to go outside.
Can anxiety be classified as fear?
Anxiety is not fear because it's more of a response. So to something that is long lasting. So if you are scared, it's usually in response to a specific trigger, right? And that's where phobias come in, right? So an anxiety in its disordered state can be considered a phobia, right? So we have agoraphobia, fear of going outside. We have um, claustrophobia, fear of enclosed spaces, right? So that is really when the fear kind of gets out of control. That's when it's a specific trigger. And generally, if you're fearful that, once that threat has passed, you're okay.
How can you tell if a loved one needs psychological help? Well, according to Ms. Valdez, in order for a clinical diagnosis of anxiety to be made, symptoms have to be exhibited constantly for a 2-week period.
So sometimes, we have these feelings based on situations. So it will be situational responses. And we have that, and then the thing comes, and then our feelings dissipate once it has passed. If you notice that you are experiencing things such as lack of sleep, right? You're maybe not sleeping, your heart rate is increased, you're not eating, maybe eating too much, increased heart rate, sweaty palms or just generally sweating, high blood pressure, all of those things could be symptoms of anxiety.
Ms. Valdez still advises people with these symptoms to consult with a medical doctor to ensure that they aren't dealing with a physiological condition.
In recent times, especially because of COVID, we also don't want to just label something as that when there could also be another reason for it, right? So go to the doctor, get checked out, make sure if it has been occurring consistently for 2 weeks or more, make sure it's nothing physiological. And then you realize, okay, well, maybe it was something internal. If it's not, well, then it could definitely be anxiety.
When left unchecked, anxiety can cause various behaviors that strain or damage relationships with loved ones. I'm Mahalia Joseph-Wharton, keeping tabs on your inner circle.